and it's great to be here. And you know, I'm thrilled to be here with Grace, who has just been a terrific assembly member and someone who I've worked with very closely. She is impossible not to like, and proof of that is who's standing behind me here today. Are you starting out? Am I?
Are you saying we never like anybody, the four of us?
Well, you know, no, to get all of them to agree, to get all of the mayoral candidates to agree on a candidate is unusual at this juncture in time. All who have worked together, all wonderful human beings, I might add, and it really is exciting to be here today as each of the candidates are going to speak. I just got this assignment. I'm thinking, now, who do I call on first? This is bad. I know. That's it. Okay. Okay. All right. And all right. I'm going to call on first, according to the candidate herself. We're starting regionally here, so I'm going to start off with the Comptroller of the City of New York, John C. Bloom.
Thank you, Chairman Weprin, for that introduction, and I am proud to stand with all my colleagues in government in support of Grace Meng for Congress. Grace has been my assembly member for several years now, and she has represented my interests and the interests of her district well in Albany. She's been a passionate legislator, she's been a fierce community activist, and all the while being a mom of 2 young kids. That is no small feat to be able to accomplish. And I know that in the years ahead, our community is going to need a strong voice in Washington to advocate for issues ranging from education to immigration to business empowerment and the economy. And Grace has been there on so many of these issues. In fact, we just came from an Equal Pay Coalition event where we're commemorating the fact that today is Equal Pay Day, unfortunately commemorating the fact that women still get paid far less than their men peers doing the same kind of work. And this is just one of the examples of Grace's activism as a community activism and as a legislator. She updated us in the conference on the legislation that she has sponsored and spearheaded in the New York State Assembly, trying to equalize the situation for women and by extension all New Yorkers. That's the kind of leadership that I believe we need in Congress, and I'm wholeheartedly supporting or endorsing Grace once again for the 6th Congressional District of New York State. Grace is going to hit the ground running. I can't wait to vote for her on June 26th and then again in November. Thank you.
Now, at the suggestion, I was going to do it alphabetically now, so I'd like to call on the Speaker of the New York City Council, Christine Quinn. Quinn before de Blasio?
Sure.
Go with the flow.
In the Gaelic alphabet, it's certainly.
Not to mention I'm a New York City Council member, in case you didn't know.
Exactly. So thank you, Councilmember Weprin. Well, I am also thrilled to be here once again announcing my support for Grace Meng and her run for Congress. Excuse me. And Grace is somebody who, whether it's fighting for marriage equality, fighting to increase the minimum wage, fighting successfully to improve the tax code in the state of New York so people who have more pay more. She's somebody who has demonstrated time and again that she has important democratic values, that she doesn't just hold those values, that she acts on them. And she acts on them to get things done. And as all things go, a lot of people have been in the Assembly decades. Relatively new member of the Assembly, she has gotten things done by working with her colleagues, by bringing people together. And if there is one legislative body in the country, probably more than any other, that needs that skill, that needs that grace, pun intended, needs that grace, needs that likability, it is Congress. So I am not just excited because of your record. I'm not just excited because of your background, but because of who you are and your ability to unite people, to bring people together. You're going to be an outstanding member of Congress who is going to deliver for New York, and in doing so, create bigger, broader coalitions that are going to help the entire country, particularly women, working women, children, immigrants and folks out there who are struggling really hard to make it every day. So I'm so excited to support you and can't wait for that wonderful inauguration. Congratulations.
Now I'd like to call on the public advocate of the City of New York, Bill de Blasio.
Thank you, Mark, very much. I first got to know Grace a couple of years ago. And a lot of us were at a conference in Puerto Rico, and I first saw her. It's okay, it's a very good conference. My wife and I noted right away. We saw her with her children. We saw her juggling a lot of different things at once and doing it with tremendous compassion and grace. And that struck me. And then I started talking to her about some of the issues we're all facing. And I found particular intelligence and sharpness of analysis. And a willingness to say blunter truths than I've found many people in public life are willing to do. I started to feel this was someone special. I just want to say that there's two ways to look at this election, and I think what Grace will mean to the people of the 6th Congressional District and what she'll mean for Washington. If you're in the 6th Congressional District, Grace is going to understand the needs of the people of that district. As a parent, she will understand what every parent goes through, just trying to make ends meet, trying to provide for their kids to make sure they have a decent education in New York City. As someone who understands the immigrant experience, she is going to fight for immigrants in her district every day. Not just what they need in Washington, but she's going to fight for them right there in the district for what they deserve every day. She's worked on issues like affordable housing that so many New Yorkers feel first and foremost on their agenda. She understands the issue. She's done something about it. She brings an activist lawyer's approach. She is a how do we get something done person. She's someone who understands the grassroots. So if you live in the 6th Congressional District, there is so much that Grace will bring to you, so much she will do for you. Now, if you're thinking from the perspective of Congress in Washington, if anything, Speaker Quinn was charitable about that group at this point. The Congress is broken. The status quo in Washington is fundamentally unacceptable. It's being made even worse by the money flooding our political system as a result of the Citizens United decision. Grace is someone who will rock that status quo because she understands what real people need and what they're going through. She sees the absolute tragedy, for example, of the inability of this Congress to deal with immigration reform, something that every New Yorker understands the need for, but the people in the Congress keep looking away from all the time. Grace is going to bring, I think, a tough, straightforward viewpoint to the Congress that's going to shake things up in a way we need. So I just want to say this is an endorsement I feel great about because I know she's going to make an impact here in her district. She's going to make a big impact in Washington. She's the kind of leader we need a lot more of. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to call on the former President of the Board of Ed and former Controller of the City of New York, Bill Thompson.
Thank you, Mark. You know, it may not be easy to get all of us to agree on one thing, but it's easy to get us to agree that Grace Meng is the best person to be the next congressional representative of the 6th District in Queens. You know, I had the chance over the years to get to work with Grace. One of the things I remember the most about her, and I mentioned it before, in 2009 when I ran for mayor, there was Grace, and she must have been 9 months pregnant at that point. And I was worried all along that, you know, she was out there charging hard. I was worried that any second she was going to give birth. And I used to tell Grace, take it easy. But she didn't. Because the type of person she is, a person who gives everything, who gives all of her energy, all of her focus to the people of her district, the people of Queens, and the people of New York City. That's who she is. You know, we've all talked about Washington being broken, and it is. But a lot of it is because we've got a number of people in Washington, not all of them, but a number of them, who have forgotten why they're there. They think they're there for themselves. They're there and supposed to be there for us. Grace is going to remember that. She's going to be there for us. She's going to be out there working for middle class and working New Yorkers. She's going to be out there working for immigrants. She's going to be out there working for people who dream about how New York City and her people in her district, how they can be better. That's why she's going to be there, and she understands that. So I'm pleased and honored to be here to support Grace. I think it's, I think all of us together send a message. She is the best person. She's the type of person who brings people together. I've seen her in different crowds, different groups, people from all different backgrounds. They all like Grace. They all respect her. They all, I know, looking forward to working with her, and she's the next congressional person in the district, in the 6th district in Queens. Grace, let's get it done, all right? Because we need you in Washington.
So without further ado, I want to call on our candidate who has proven herself here today once again to be a uniter, someone who builds bridges to all communities, all ethnicities, all areas of this city, but especially in Queens, bringing people together by talking about positive issues. And these proud Democrats behind me join me and so many other Democrats throughout Queens in supporting our next Congresswoman, Grace Meng.
Everyone, and thanks to everyone for coming out here. We arranged especially sunny and nice weather for you. I hope that was okay. I'm so proud today to stand here and accept the endorsements of these wonderful citywide leaders right here behind me. To have their support and their endorsement means the world to me. They, in each of their own right, have brought forth a vision for New York City. And they have made it possible for working families to have a better quality of life. They have been able to protect our children and to make sure that all kids, regardless of what you look like and where you come from, have equal access to education and health care. They have done their best in creating jobs for our great city, and they are continuing to work to make sure that New York City remains affordable for every working family. I truly look forward to continuing to partner with them from a federal level with government. We want to make sure that Queens receives the resources and the funding that it needs so badly, but it hasn't been getting. We want to make sure that we continue to fight for the same working families that we've been fighting for all these years. I'm running for Congress to get these things done, not to move out of the Assembly, not to move up from anywhere, but to really get things done for our working families. Today is 2012 Equal Pay Day Act, and it's a main reason why I'm running for Congress. Congress consists of 17% of women, which means that 17% of a body are making decisions for half the population, and that's something that's not acceptable. When we have to stand here and stand and listen to what our Congress members have been fighting for in Congress and hear attacks on issues and laws like the Lilly Ledbetter Act, where people are calling equal fair pay a nuisance and something that's not reasonable, there's something seriously wrong with our country. We need to make sure that every working family has every chance and to be able to achieve their American dream. So I want to thank each of our citywide elected officials who are with me here today, and my chairman, Mark Weprin, really for their support, their endorsement. We have a lot of hard work ahead of time, and we look forward to having a positive result on June 26th.